Hi there guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at the print for InkRIP, but before that let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Now if we had to head into the program here, let's just get our shortcuts working. There we go. Okay, so you can see currently we have an image in here, and let's say we want to print it. Now obviously the print button will only work if we have something changed, otherwise it will be grayed out. So if there's nothing to be printed, you can see there it's grayed out. We can't click it now. So I'm going to undo that. So now there's a few things to keep in mind when printing, but we'll run through all of those in a short moment. So first of all, we're going to click the print button, and this will pop us up the print dialog. On top here we have the some basic resolution, some ICC profiles and stuff like that we can set, but this we're going to look into later. It's a little bit advanced for now. So for this, just leave that at default. And then first thing we're going to be looking at is the actual printing type. So if I zoom in here, you guys can see we've got a drop down menu with two options. We've got file, and then we've got TCP IP. So under file, something to keep in mind is if we're going to be printing with a file, we're going to have to save it first. So it's going to prompt us where we want to save it. And then if we want to do it over a network for the TCP IP, we're going to go to settings, and then we'll set up the network. I'm not going to do that now, but we're just going to keep ours on file for now. Then we've got the print type, which we're not going to go into now. We'll just leave that at default as well. Then under that, we have a few different settings we can actually adjust. So you guys can see here we've got the horizontal mirror. So if you look on the image on the right, if I click that, it will mirror it horizontally, vertical. We've got multiple prints, which could be a handy one. If you check that, just make sure you go in here and set the parameters for there. So how many do you want on, let's say, horizontal? You want it to have 2 or 3, depending on if you're running a roll or not, and then you can do some horizontal spacing between them as well. So all handy. We've got print frames, so if you want to print a frame onto that. Then we've got forward output. You can see this kind of just puts it the same way it was in the program. Got for roller print if you want to set up that, and then we've got print cutting line. So yeah, so if you need to set those things, as well, we do it under the output options. And then something to keep in mind with a file sending type, we're going to file, it's gonna obviously first generate a file, so which means there's going to be a little bit more space, and you'll first have to do that extra process. If you got TCP IP, it's not going to generate a file, which means it's just going to keep it in your memory, so it's a little bit more resource hungry, but it's a bit faster in return because you don't have to do the extra step. And so that is something to keep in mind with that. So let's just quickly look at where do you see the actual progress. So let's say we've got this and we want to print it. Let's say we've set up everything we like. I'm just going to leave this on, and we say print. Then, like I mentioned, it's going to prompt us where we want to save it. So I'm just going to have this print test, and then the file format is only one, PRN. Click save, and now what's going to happen, it takes us to our job manager. An important thing over here, we can see the actual progress. So once this thing reaches 100%, that's how we know the job is done. So we can see the status is printing, and the progress 50, 54, and then the time it takes. You can also see some other information where it's saving it to, which printers it's using, and so forth, also the date. But this is the important thing, just keep in mind the progress so you can see when it's done, and once it's 100%, it should be done. If you want to remove something, you can just simply click here to delete, say yes. And also, if your file is busy, so let's say it is busy printing, and then you can simply click that stop. Let's say you need to make changes and you don't want to complete, you click stop, and it will stop the job where it was at. So I'm just going to delete that, remove that, go back to our actual project and go to the print setting. Now another thing that is rather important to note is, let's say our canvas here is off the actual cutting or printing area. And what's going to happen is once we click print, it's got everything set up, then it's actually going to prompt you with a warning message that your canvas is overlapped. So just keep that in mind. So if you get this error, it's because your actual printing area or your image is off the canvas. So it's just telling you it's going to basically be automatically cut off wherever it's overlapping. You can say do not display this dialog if if you use this often and you know what you're doing. I'm going to say cancel and move this one back to where it was. So that is also handy. When it comes to the actual progress and the speed it takes, this is going to vary depending on the size of your canvas. So if you've got a large canvas or a large image, and the printing time is going to take longer. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have a set time. That will depend on your image and the quality and size. But yeah, otherwise that is it on printing. Pretty straightforward. You can obviously deep dive into some of these settings, play around with them depending on what you're looking for. But everything is pretty straightforward. You can also see the measurements here on the preview thing if you have to. Otherwise though, in the meanwhile, if we head here to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variety of different softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your search on the top right. If you do not, however, find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request a training video, fill in the mini form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.